these thugs come up and they punch him. What's Donald to do?
This debate is going to be so much fun to watch.
It's going to be awesome.
We just have to take a step back and appreciate what we're going to see on Thursday night, because you have all these very serious candidates with serious points of view, and then you've got Donald Trump, who will literally be in the middle of the stage, who will be center stage for this entire.
Wow.
And it'll be interesting to see if these other candidates are able to make the debate not about Donald Trump, because you know a lot of the questions will be about Trump and is he qualified to be president. Will they be able to get their own messages out there, or will it be like the last month has been, where the entire campaign is about one man?
The larger question, as Donald Trump reports to Fulton County later tonight, is, does any of what we saw last night matter?
How many people in the history of presidential politics have entered a debate first in the polls, and the first debate they've ever done in their lives?
Yeah.
No one. And yet not one of us thinks he's going to be nervous.
Wow.
He's never done a debate.
The public spotlight since I saw an old New York Times article, I think from 1973.
Right.
We're talking about these basic issues Trumpers don't believe in.
Wow.
If you want to win the election, if you want to beat Joe Biden, put Nikki Haley up. She'll beat Joe Biden. Put Ron DeSantis up. Ron DeSantis will probably beat Joe Biden. We're in a position now where they could put just about anybody up against Joe Biden. And for whatever reason, I can't really explain it, I do think Biden's done very well in many areas.
Wow.
But Republicans would win.
The political world is upside down. And you have Donald Trump, who is sort of this Mad Hatter of American politics. But here's the catch. He may be mad, but he's driving everybody else in this process mad too, or at least driving them wildly off their game in a way that feeds right into his strengths.
And yet this Trump Republican Party, they don't listen because they're too interested in making a point instead of winning election.
This is a diagnosis the mainstream media better pick up on fast, because they're getting it wrong time and time again. I mean, how many times are they going to predict the imminent decline of Donald Trump? We're not here carrying Donald Trump's brief.
They only care about, like, they think they own the libs.
We're not here defending Donald Trump. But the media is jumping to conclusions that feed into Donald Trump supporters' worst beliefs about the media, that assume the very worst and write it as if that's the case, and you only help Donald Trump.
They only care about, like, they think they own the libs.
And, you know, it's not just the media. I think there's a whole list here of entities that have taken not only just a side against Donald Trump, but aim at him. And they've completely misfired. And it's not just the media, it's elite circles. It's Fox News itself. It's the Republican Party, and they've all completely overreached. And what they need to be looking at is not Donald Trump, but the mood of the country.
They don't care about winning elections anymore.
We stipulate for the purposes of this conversation that Donald Trump will never be president of the United States. That his lethal danger to the Republican Party, we just showed it, and we're in on it. We just gave him 5 minutes.
Because he's president of the United States, and everything a president says is important.
Donald Trump will never be president of the United States.
Wow.
But we have got to stop acting so surprised at his behavior.
I'm not surprised.
This is his pattern for his entire professional life.
I have never seen a faster learner in American politics than Donald Trump.
But what he's doing is damage to his own presidency.
Donald Trump will never be president of the United States. I have never seen a faster learner in American politics than Donald Trump. He adapts to the scene no matter where he is. He dominates the scene no matter what he's doing or what he's saying. I've never seen anything like it.
It's an administration that has lost all credibility.
The president's made charges that he's not going to be able to prove, because he will never prove that Barack Obama ordered the tapping of his phones.
When the claim arose, and the president amplified it, that the FBI had been spying on the Trump organization, he was denounced as a nutcase, as a conspiracy theorist. This is totally false.
He will never prove that Barack Obama ordered the tapping of his phones.
Well, newly declassified documents suggest it's not false at all, it's true.
And one thing we learned from the hand of one of the FBI agents involved in the spy campaign against the Trump campaign was that they used a defensive briefing on foreign intelligence threats, like Russians trying to interfere in our election. They used that briefing not to tell the Trump administration or the Trump campaign what was happening. They used it instead to spy on the Trump campaign. And the agent they sent in said he was there to actively listen to and look at mannerisms from the people involved in case he needed to use it against them later during their spy campaign.
Wow. He basically accused a former president of the United States of committing a felony.
When Trump first said, you know, they were spying on me, oh no, that's not possible, he's crazy, we'd never do that. And what they were actually doing was they were spying on him. They were using wiretaps, national security letters, confidential human sources.
Director of the FBI asking the Justice Department to tell the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, to stop lying.
Which they were supposed to tell the campaigns, hey, these are the real threats against you. And they were using them as operations to dig up dirt and spy on them. And if that isn't a reason to distrust the FBI and assume that everything they're doing is political, I'm not sure there's a reason you can ever give to doubt what that agency's up to.
He basically accused a former president of the United States of committing a felony.
The most disconcerting thing is, given everything we know about the illegal spying, the fabrication of evidence, that nobody's been charged. Not a single person.
The question itself, what would, you know, if you had Donald Trump's ear? You know, you can have Donald Trump's ear, but his ears are blocked.
Is your whole Hillary criminal probe on the emails, because it is a criminal thing what took place. There's no question about it. I think she won't be indicted because it's all Democrats that are the prosecutors right now.
And I asked this person, I said, does Trump realize the damage that he is doing to himself and to the process by continually harping on a rigged election and in certain places, you know, the election's going to be rigged? And the response was, no, he does not realize it because he is so filled with anger about the potential, about the prospect of losing, that he can't see beyond that. He's so filled with rage that that's what's fueling his campaign in these last days.
I must say, this is hilarious. You are incredibly thin-skinned, my friend.
I know,
incredibly
I am thin-skinned. Even the fact, hey, Joseph. Yeah.
I think this is what, Mika, you're getting at, equal pay for equal jobs. Yeah, because it is tricky.
So, like, who would you pay more here, Donald? Just curious.
With you and Joe, I'd absolutely pay you more.
Oh, my God.
All right.
I would pay you much more. Joe, I would pay Mika so much more your head would spin.
Just lost the Scarborough vote. Yeah.
So I heard you talking about Mobile. So what happened, Mobile, Alabama is amazing. We took a ballroom. We had 500 people, we thought, and they called. They said, we're being swamped. So then we took a room for 1,500 people, and they called, we said, we're swamped. And then they took the convention center, and now I understand they're going to have like 30 or 40 or something thousand people. They ended up taking the football stadium. So it's going to be an amazing Friday, and if your brother's around there, Joe, I have to meet him because you've been saying such great things about your brother.
Now that you've been going around for a while, what surprised you the most?
My theme is Make America Great Again. I've even copyrighted it. Can you believe it? Nobody else can use it. At the beginning, they started using it. And I said, you can't use it, it's copyright. I can't believe I got the copyright on that one, but I guess I have a good lawyer, right? That's what I do. But
and after all the swashbuckling rhetoric, after all you said about the other Republican candidates, and it's been really entertaining and really effective in many ways, given your standing in the polls, how could you support any of these guys?
Well, first of all, I assume that's Gene Robinson, who I'm starting to love, Joe. You know, I'm starting to love Gene, okay? I'm falling madly in love with him. Anyway,
we're bonding.
Wow.
Mika and I have picked up the phone through the years, saying, Donald, please tone it down. And you know what Donald says? I can't, Joe. This is who I am.
Be me.
I think he's going to be fine. But
let Trump be Trump.
I will say this, you know, Hillary, what she did, if you look at General Petraeus, what she did is far greater as a crime, and it is a crime. The question is whether or not Democrat prosecutors will prosecute her. And everybody is watching to see whether or not they're honorable, because, frankly, if that were a Republican that did what she did, they would have already been in jail.
Comparing that with what's going on here with America's national security, I've got to agree with you. It's if this were a Republican, somebody would already be indicted.
This would have happened a long time ago, the indictment, and I think a lot of people are watching, and they know that it's very serious what she did. I mean, it's at a much higher level.
And we, you know, as you know, Donald, we talk about everything on this show, and we don't hide the fact that we've known you for a very long time. I've even told people on this show that I've called you up and I advised you early on, stop picking fights with people, and you ignore all my advice, and then you go up 30 points in the polls. But one thing I have learned, John Heilman, this is very interesting, that Bill Clinton told me not so long ago, if you're going to be a good governor or a good president, you have to have a short memory. Donald, if he's punched, punches back. But what I've found out over the past month is a very short memory. He's always looking for friends. And that's the one thing that always shocks me in politics.
Well, Joe, you have a great example in your studio. John Heilman, I couldn't stand this guy, right? I could not stand him.
Totally understand.
Then what happened is through his cohort, Mark, I met John, and I liked him a lot, and they did an interview, and I actually really like him a lot.
Well,
so
you might want
it
to
means
rethink
I have
that.
a short memory. Hey, John, who would have thought I would have liked you, right?
It's inconceivable.
Let Trump be Trump.